everything. But what I have found is that for me, right, I made the decision that I can't let her, because I didn't like it and I still don't like it. The being that emotionally void, that non-affectionate person, right? I don't like that. So I cannot become that person. I cannot allow myself to become that person because I did not like receiving, or not receiving rather, right? So for me, that has always been my thinking. So even with my husband, right? I make a very conscious effort to love on him, to be very like as much as I can. Now he's way more affectionate than I am. But I make a real like conscious decision, right? My son, I'm extremely affectionate with him. Like he won't let me not be affectionate. So he's always like grabbing me and kissing me because he sees me and my husband kissing. He's always like, if I hug him, he's like up on me. He's like a koala bear. He's like jumping on me and everything. We lay together. The other day we're sitting on the couch and he just put his arm around my head and pulled my head on him so I could lay my head on him. I have to be very cognizant about the way I treat other people, because I've been the person on that other end that wanted the affection, that longed for the affection, because I used to long for the affection from my mom. And it hasn't been too long ago, right, that I stopped. Even as an adult woman, I remember being pregnant and wanting my mom, right? I'm like, oh my gosh, I would love my mom to be here. But you know what? I didn't want my mom to be there. I wanted the idea of a mom to be there, right? Not my mom, because it just would have been disastrous. It was a high stress. I was like, I don't need no more stress, right? So she's good, right? Stay where she is. But the idea, right, of a mom being there would have been great. So that was another realization for me, that in those moments when I have longed for a mother to be there, I wasn't longing for my mother to be there, because that energy, right, especially when I'm going through something that's important, or I'm going through something that's life changing, I didn't want that energy there, right? Not her energy. But what I did want was a mother energy, right? A nurturing energy to be present. And so I've kind of come to terms with the fact that she is who she is. And what I cannot do is allow her to dictate how I am in my relationships, right? Because here she is in her 70s, she's by herself. She is, and I don't want to be that. So I would say for you, you have to ask yourself, right? What do you want this life to look like for you? What is it that you need in your life? Because sometimes what we need is the opposite of what we bring. And so you have to decide, what do you need? What do you want? What would help you to grow? And it's sometimes embracing that thing that is uncomfortable. And so having that partner that's super affectionate, that causes you to have to be affectionate because they're super affectionate. Having that partner who understands your story and gets, like, hey, I have some blocks here when it comes to affection, but I want to change it. I want to change it, And so I had to have that conversation with my husband. I had to ask my husband to have patience with me in that area because of that. But I was also very determined to have a very loving household, because my household was not loving. So for me to change the narrative, for me to not pass on this trauma to my child, for me to not replicate my childhood home for him, I had to do something different. And I had to not force myself. I had to have some real serious conversations within myself about not then repeating the patterns. So that is what I would say to you. That is what I would say to the listeners that are feeling like I am doing I'm showing up the way my mom did, or I'm showing up the way my dad did. But when I started this journey, I said I didn't want to, right? But then you find yourself there. But it's not too late to change it. So now is the time where you sit down and you really have that serious conversation with yourself. What do you want? What do you want your household to look like? What do you want to give your child? How do you want your child to be when they grow up and they're in a relationship, right? And they meet, for you, your daughter meets a man, right? How would you feel watching her not be affectionate towards someone that loves her, right? Or do you want her to experience that full range of openness and letting your guard down and trusting someone? Because those are gifts. And I think sometimes we forget about those gifts. But to be able to meet someone and have them in your space and you can fully trust them, you can fully embrace that pure love that that person's able to give you. You can relax in their presence. You can feel protected and allow yourself to feel protected. I think that's a beautiful thing. And I think so many of us miss out on that because we have these traumas that we haven't dealt with.
Yeah, I'm sitting here, I'm having all kind of aha moments because I mean, I was very much aware that my mom wasn't affectionate, but I don't think I looked at that as trauma, and it truly was. And it did affect, like I said, I make a conscious effort to be very loving and affectionate with my daughter, but with other people, I'm not making that effort. Like it is what it is. That's kind of how I look at it. And I carried so much anger towards my mom for many years because she wasn't showing up the way I thought a mother should show up. Now, she was a good mom. She raised the three of us after my dad died. She was a single parent. She was a good mom, but still, we place these expectations on others and our parents, and we have this idea of a mom or how a mom should show up. And it took me a long time, but I've released that anger towards her. I understand through therapy that she has experienced her own traumas that may have shaped her into who she is, how she mothered us. So that has helped me heal, but it took a long Dr. Young, it took a long time.